Hey everybody, welcome to Dad's Den of Pop Culture and Merry Christmas. We've made it. Hopefully everybody's having a groovy day. And maybe if it's been a little less groovy than you'd like, this video will, alleviate some of that, I hope. It'd be cool if it could. So today we're talking about the infamous Star Wars holiday special. Yeah, we know it was not that great. We had weird musical numbers, although, Diahann Carroll was pretty cool and had kind of this trippy song, and Jefferson Starship wasn't that bad, to be completely honest. You had like the holographic circus. Kids in the 70s were pretty much over circuses. In fact, I think kids in the 60s were for the most part as well. But the kids in the 50s who were now running everything, they just wouldn't let circuses go. And then you had these bleak comedy numbers starring Harvey Korman, and God bless him, he did everything he could, but they just weren't good, honestly. But this is the holiday season. This is a time for love and for charity. And so I think some positivity is in order. So strap yourself in. Let's make the jump to light speed. And let's explore a few things that I kind of like about the Star Wars holiday special. Now, of course, the first time I saw this, the only time I saw it for a really long time, I was 6. So bear that in mind, because it does impact this relatively short list. So first of all, it was Star Wars. This is 78. It was not a great time in America economically, and we didn't have streaming, and we didn't have DVD, and we had VCRs, but most people didn't have VCRs. And well, in 78, I don't know if Star Wars had been released on any form of physical media. So, we didn't have a lot of access to Star Wars outside of our memories. And, we kids, we really wanted Star Wars really, really, really badly. And okay, despite some of the weirdness of the thing, it was Star Wars. And look, it's a variety show. We dealt with variety shows all the time when we were kids. We had oftentimes just one TV in the house that everybody had to share. So you had to watch a lot of things you didn't really like, stuff for your parents or like something your little sister wanted to watch. And, Gen X, we were born to watch TV. So just because something, bad was on didn't mean we were going to, get up and go read a book or something. So we were pretty good at sort of zoning out the bad stuff and focusing on the good stuff. And there was some good stuff in this, mixed in with all the weird music and bad comedy. You got Luke Skywalker. With some kind of weird eye makeup, but it was the 70s. It was okay. You got Han Solo, Princess Leia, R2, C-3PO. You got Stormtroopers. You got Darth Vader. Okay, it was just a repurposed clip from the movie, but again, we couldn't watch the movies all the time. And you got Chewbacca and a lot of Chewbacca's family, but that was cool, man, because we were kids, and that was kind of the stuff that we really just wanted to see. I can remember begging my mom back in the day to buy me a People magazine because it had, Return of the Jedi on the cover. And you'd get a relatively short article with a few pictures, but it was it was something. We just wanted that so badly, and a point in the holiday special's favor, they actually managed to put all these lead characters on screen at one time, which the makers of the sequel trilogy, they can't say. So we got a dose of Star Wars. Maybe some bad stuff mixed in, but we got some Star Wars, and that was really, really cool. And we got, of course, the cartoon. And I know this is, for most people, this is the top thing about the Star Wars special. And frankly, it should be, because it was pretty rad. And it also introduced to Gen X our newest obsession, Boba Fett. And I'm telling you what, man, we wished and we hoped and we prayed that this was going to be on our TV sets on Saturday mornings following this holiday special. And it wasn't. Now, eventually we would get droids, but that was when most of us were kind of getting to be too old for cartoons. So it didn't really help us out that much. But, you know, the little cartoon segment really had the feel of Star Wars. Of course, it had all the voice actors doing their characters in it. And from an adult perspective, it's quirky. It's kind of has this really cool animation style. You know, it was done by Nelvana, who would do the droids thing later and did cool stuff like Rock and Rule. But yeah, it was kind of trippy, had a Mobius kind of thing going for it. A little bit like Star Wars meets Yellow Submarine. It was very groovy. It was legitimately cool. You know, and what else can you say? It's like, it had Boba Fett, man. I mean, like, we were all going to school the next day talking about this dude. Like, who is this guy? We got to know more. Is he going to, I can even remember some of us were like, was he in the movie? Did I forget about this dude? I mean, when you're 6, you don't pay that much attention to anything. And so, yeah, some of the likenesses were just a little bit off. I don't know if there was an element of, we don't want to have to pay extra for that, or maybe Harrison Ford did something to the guy's, you know, mom who made this. But either way, even with that the case, you got this really cool, like, domed city on a water world. You got some new weird creatures. The stormtroopers were there riding around on this rad thingamabob thing has that ever been made into a toy? And if not, why has that not been made into a toy? You'd have to do a little something, because of course the Star Wars figures, their legs would just stick straight out. It might be but you could make it work. I mean, it is actually legitimately pretty rad. And most importantly, like, what we really wanted, of course, from the Star Wars special was another Star Wars movie. That wasn't going to happen. I mean, not on a TV specials budget. You weren't getting a big special effects, you know, bonanza. But with the cartoon, you got an adventure story with action and all that stuff. And like I said, we got a new bad guy that we could check out, and kind of a happy ending, you know, with a little joke at the end. It was really, really cool. So that, whatever else you think about the holiday special, you got the cartoon. Now, this next one is maybe mostly personal to me, but it's one thing that made a lasting impression on me when I was 6 years old. And I mean, because I remember, like, I wouldn't see this thing again until it was floating around on the internet. I never got one of those videotapes of it. So I probably didn't see this thing again till I was 40 years old. It's probably a good 35-year gap. And there's one thing I really, really distinctly remembered. And no, it was not Carrie Fisher singing, and it wasn't B. Arthur singing either. It was Lumpy. Okay. Chewie's precocious son, played, I think, by Paul Williams. I mean, at least he looks like Paul Williams, but specifically, it was the stormtroopers trashing Lumpy's room when they were looking for any sign of the rebellion. So again, I was 6 years old when I saw Star Wars, right? And the special. And as a 6-year-old, I didn't have a real firm grasp on the depths of human evil, of socialist gulags and national socialist death camps. And I didn't know what a real stormtrooper actually was. Now, I mean, I understood that the Empire was evil in as much as they were the bad guys. And okay, yeah, they blew up a planet, but I mean, that's like pretty fake. I mean, and it's hard for a little kid to grasp their, get their head around like what that would really mean. But the stormtroopers invading Chewbacca's home and then destroying another little kid's toys, like, dude, at 6 years old, that hit me hard. I mean, how could anybody do that to a little kid? And it's really that bit when he goes into his room afterwards and he's looking at everything being messed up, and he has that stuffed bantha and they like ripped its head off, and he's like, that, it's like his teddy bear. I mean, like, imagine, your teddy bear or whatever, like, filled that role for you as a kid. Some adults just going into your room and ripping the head off of it and then throwing it on the ground. Like, you'd freak. And, so, laugh if you will at the mild emotional scars that this built in me, but it really did, like, it hit me when I was a 6-year-old. And it shows that even in a silly kind of special like this, there can actually be, you could learn something from it. You could learn that there's actually people out there that are this bad, and I learned that the Empire were really, really, really bad guys. Like, and I didn't root for stormtroopers and Darth Vader and stuff after that point. I mean, maybe when I was an adult and I could kind of laugh at it, but I wanted those dudes to lose, man. I was glad to see that stormtrooper get knocked off of there. I was happy in Return of the Jedi or wherever it was when Vader gets his hand chopped off. It's like, good. Screw you. I remember what you did to Lumpy. So there you go, man. Like, that was, I know it's a goofy sort of a show, but when you're 6, like that, that actually means something. And as holiday specials go, we get a nice ending to this one. Chewbacca is reunited with his family, with his wife. They all celebrate Life Day together, which is really kind of weird, and I can appreciate that as, somebody who has that kind of sense of humor. And they all, join hands and have supper together. And it's really a nice little family piece at the end of this thing. So there you have it, folks. I know this is a quick one. I mean, because let's be honest, there's a lot of stuff in that special that just doesn't work. But look, even in something as goofy and maybe ill-conceived as Star Wars Holiday Special, there's still good to be found. There's still something you can find in there to love. Maybe it's different stuff for you than it is for me, but there is something good in there, and that's something that's good to remember this time of year. So, folks, have a Merry Christmas. God bless all of you, and hope you enjoyed this little video. I will hopefully see you again soon in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. In the meantime, I go have some, well, my lights just went out. In the meantime, go have some turkey. I'll work on putting my lights back on, and I will see you next time in Dad's Den of Pop Culture. Bye-bye, folks.